everyone. Welcome to the Building Collaborative Apps with Microsoft Teams session. I'm Divyanga Pillai, and I'm a product manager here at Microsoft. I am really pleased to be presenting from one of our brand new pods here at Microsoft headquarters. Thank you for joining us at Build 2022. I expect that many of you, like me, are starting to return to the office after 2 years of largely remote work. Things are definitely different. Suddenly, hybrid is not just a buzzword. It's here to stay. It's something that we are all living every time we go to work, wherever we go to work. We're making new rules, new schedules, and new spaces. We also need to make new apps that help us collaborate in the world of hybrid work. Apps that reimagine how people get things done in different places, on different devices, at different times. With so many opportunities to build new solutions or rebuild existing ones, it's a pretty amazing time to be an app developer. My colleagues and I are building a lot of cool stuff, or at least stuff we sure think is cool, to help you reimagine or maybe even reinvent collaboration in the hybrid workplace. Our session today is divided into 3 parts. First, I will be showing you some of the amazing things we are doing with Teams extensibility, so you can build once and enable contextually appropriate scenarios. Then, my colleague Tomomi will join us remotely from Hawaii to talk about the tooling we've built to make app development easier. And finally, you definitely don't want to miss my colleague Hal, who will share some of the amazing fluid-powered experiences we are adding to the platform. Of course, everything you see in this session is either generally available or available in preview for you to explore. And for a lot of the topics, we've got additional on-demand content that you can watch on your own schedule when you're ready to take a deeper look into the things you find most interesting. The link to all of our sessions is in the chat window. Now, let's get started. At Ignite, this past fall, we announced the preview of a new Teams SDK and manifest that looked a little different than their predecessors. Why? Because you could use them to build Teams apps that could also work in Outlook and Office.com. Today, we are really excited to announce that both the SDK and manifest we shared in preview are now generally available. As a developer, what that means is that when you update your SDK reference to Teams JS v2 and your manifest to v1.13, you'll be able to extend your existing Teams apps to Outlook and Office.com on web and Windows, with mobile to follow later this calendar year. Now, your Teams apps may support a multitude of capabilities, including channel tabs, personal tabs, messaging extensions, meeting extensions, and more. As we thought about extending these capabilities, the notion of contextual relevance became top of mind for us. And you'll see it reflected across the board, including in the way we have designed and organized the APIs in this new SDK. With that guiding principle, we've chosen personal tabs and search-based message extensions as the first set of capabilities to extend beyond Teams to Outlook and Office.com. For example, you can see how one of our partners, SurveyMonkey, has used the new SDK to build an app that extends a personal tab into different contexts. Of course, Teams, the heart of workplace collaboration, but also Outlook, our essential communications app, and Office.com, where SurveyMonkey users can quickly find and create personal or shared content. Starting today, you can take advantage of the new SDK and manifest that are generally available. You have the ability to specify that you want these app capabilities to run in additional M365 host apps. You can also run full-scale pilots with preview users in Outlook and Office.com, allowing you to prepare for GA distribution later this calendar year. You'll be glad to know that we've built backwards compatibility into this evolution, promising a frictionless update. Even with these updates, all your existing in-market Teams experiences will continue to run as is in Teams with full production-level support. Your developer experience will remain unchanged, as our documentation, tooling, feedback channels, and code repository have been updated to support extended apps. From a distribution standpoint, you'll be able to distribute both single-tenant and multi-tenant apps using existing Teams experiences. All this is to say that we have been very intentional in honoring your in-market investments and minimizing change management. This is true for not only Teams apps, but also your existing add-in investments in Outlook. We will fully support add-ins for Outlook and Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in the same model with built-in backwards compatibility later this year. You can explore the new add-in manifest for Outlook in Dev Preview starting today. Last year at Build, we also announced the launch of messaging extensions in Outlook in Developer Preview. Now, we're happy to announce the public preview of search-based messaging extensions, which allow users to search for content from external sources and embed it in email as rich interactive cards. Let's take a look at how MURAL, one of our early adoption partners, extended their team's personal tabs and search-based message extensions to other Microsoft host apps to power a real-world scenario. All right, so in our demo, Gabby is starting her workflow for a new project in Office.com. She opens the MURAL application, which takes her to a helpful MURAL template that she's already prepared to kick off a new project with her team. She needs to work on some of the content by herself in the MURAL before sharing with her team. So she goes to a specific section and finishes the content. Now she knows she wants to send it to her colleague Dan. She goes to Outlook to write him an email. She can use a search-based message extension to insert the same MURAL directly into the message to Dan. This puts an interactive adaptive card into the message, which Dan can use to open the MURAL. Now, Gabby goes back to the MURAL, this time in her Outlook, and continues working asynchronously to keep the project moving forward. Next, she needs to share the MURAL with the rest of her team members for the project. She navigates to Teams, and in the channel for her project, she includes the MURAL again using a search-based message extension. She can tag the team in the message to get people's attention, and every recipient will see a clear call to action that says View MURAL. When they click that, they'll be taken directly into the MURAL app where they can view Gabby's MURAL, collaborate visually, and contribute ideas. Gabby wants to build a little bit of excitement and encouragement for the team, so she finally goes and adds an encouraging message saying, "We've got this." With MURAL in Microsoft 365, you can take ideas from imagination to activation for more connected teams, no matter how or where they work. Wasn't that great? We can't wait to see what you are going to build. I do want to take a moment to recognize that in addition to MURAL, we've been fortunate to work with 8 other partners who have been instrumental in trying out our early bits and giving us feedback, allowing us to hit our first developer-facing milestone today. A huge thank you to all of you for your support. If you're curious about the deeper details of the new and improved SDK and want to hear from our engineers about relevant changes, our approach to refactoring APIs, or how to use the SDK to create contextually relevant experiences, I encourage you to check out our on-demand session titled Deep Dive into Teams.js SDK V2 for extending Teams apps to Outlook and Office.com. Now, the apps we build are intended to be useful, and we've done a lot of work to ensure that you can distribute these extended Teams apps to your users and customers. To make this happen, we are bringing the same new store experience built for Teams to Outlook and Office.com, where users can discover and use the wonderful experiences that you'll be building. Users will be able to get to the store experience from the app flyout available here on the left. The store will automatically list only those apps that are relevant to each host M365 app that the user is in. You'll notice that the experience is scaled back to support an initial set of personal apps and message extensions. We'll eventually be lighting up the editorial and intelligent experiences available in the Teams store within Outlook and Office.com and apply that to existing Outlook add-ins too. All to help get the right apps in front of the right user. When a user selects an app, they can see relevant information, including its capabilities and the host M365 apps where it will be functional. By clicking Add, the user can start using the app in any host apps where it's functional. I invite you to upgrade to Teams JS SDK v2 and App Manifest v1.13 and to get feedback from preview users of Outlook and Office.com. In turn, please give us feedback so we can continue to make improvements that support your needs as an M365 or Teams developer. Now, before I hand things off to Tomomi, I've got one more item to cover. If you've got a really good memory, you might recall that in addition to showing you the preview Microsoft Teams SDK and Manifest at Ignite, we also showed you Microsoft Loop Components. Always live, actionable experiences you can embed across M365, starting with Microsoft Teams and Outlook. We also know that many of you have built search-based message extensions that can insert adaptive cards into Teams chats and now into Outlook emails. Today, we want to show you how you can transform adaptive cards into Loop components. Let's start with a demo. One of our partners, Zoho, is transforming the static adaptive card found in its Service Desk Plus Cloud Message extension into a Loop component. The new adaptive card Loop component has actionable content, enabling customers to make quick updates without switching context. And changes made in the Loop component stay in sync as it's copied-pasted across Teams and Outlook. Zoho is making this change to help its customers improve incident response times, reduce outage durations, and improve overall performance against SLAs. Here's how it works. A service outage is detected, and Adi, the incident commander at Contoso, has created a ticket for the incident in Zoho SDP. Adi then copies the link into his Teams group chat with the on-call technician, Darren, from the incident response team. The link then unfurls into a Microsoft Loop component, allowing them to take quick actions right within their chat. Darren updates the status to In Progress directly in the Loop component and copies the component to his chat with Serena, the service reliability engineer, where they troubleshoot reliability issues. Serena adds a comment to the component, and since Loop components are always live, everyone on the chat sees the latest updates, which are also flowing back to Zoho's own SaaS app. Darren implements the fix with Serena's input. Once he's completed the fix, he updates the incident status to resolved. Meanwhile, Adi receives an email from his CIO requesting an update. One great option Adi has is to simply copy-paste the Loop component from Teams, maintaining a single source of truth across Teams and Outlook. But since he's in Outlook already, Editor, which uses Context IQ, recommends the Zoho message extension, allowing Adi to seamlessly retrieve the same Loop component with relevant incident information. Context IQ is a new set of capabilities available across the Microsoft portfolio. In products like Editor, you can use Context IQ by simply typing the app symbol to discover content, people, and information relevant to you while staying in the flow of your work. As you can see, Zoho's Loop component enabled the team at Contoso to easily share relevant information and address the incident quickly, all while staying focused on their workstream. Zoho projects, GitHub, and Dynamics 365 have similarly updated their message extensions to generate adaptive card-based Loop components that boost their customers' productivity with actions like changing the due date to align with the updated schedule of a Zoho project's task, commenting on an ongoing GitHub issue, or updating the estimated revenue of a sales opportunity in Dynamics 365. And as we saw earlier, this enables customers to share content across Teams and Outlook while always staying in sync. We invite you to join the developer private preview starting in late June to evolve your message extension and create your first Loop component. Be sure to subscribe to the Microsoft 365 Dev blog or follow us on Twitter for updates as the developer preview becomes available. The full end-user experience with portability across Teams desktop and mobile, Outlook Web and Win32 will come later this year. Okay, it's time now to turn you over to my colleague Tomomi, who's joining us from her home in Hawaii to talk about the new tooling we've built to make it easier than ever to build collaborative apps. Tomomi, I'm so jealous of your location.
Thank you, Divyanka. Aloha, I'm Tomomi Imura, and I am a client advocate at Microsoft. And I'm also advocating WFH, work from home, well, work from Hawaii. Last year at Build, a preview for a new Teams Toolkit extension for Visual Studio Code was announced that helped you create, build, and publish new apps for Teams. So thank you to all the developers who are already using Teams Toolkit to build tabs, bots, and message extension apps. I'm thrilled to hear about the new types of experiences you're creating to help digitally transform your businesses. Today, I'm excited to announce that Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio Code and the Teams Toolkit CLI is generally available. And for everyone building .NET web apps, I'm happy to share that Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio is available now in preview. Let's take a quick look at Teams Toolkit in VS Code and see how easy it is to get started and what's new. First, I'll start with the Teams Toolkit tab selected and create a new Teams app. The toolkit offers a few ways to get started. I'm choosing the SSO Enable tab so I can display web content directly in Teams. I'm selecting TypeScript and then finally give my app a name. Now the project has finished scaffolding, I can run and debug this Teams app by pressing F5 or using the Debug tab. You can see in the debug profiles that Teams Toolkit has created the project support running in Teams, Outlook, and Office. It uses the latest Teams.js SDK and a manifest schema that Divyanka mentioned earlier. Teams Toolkit makes sure all the required dependencies for the app to run in Teams are all set up, including registering the Teams app and configuring it. The app is running now in the browser session of Teams, and what you're seeing is a sample UI provided in the template. The UI is built using Fluent UI React components. Another neat thing this template includes is an example that shows a simple way to authenticate a call to Microsoft Graph with a current user. Here's how it does that using the Teams FX library. That's how easy it is to get started using Teams Toolkit. But now I'm ready to start building the app I had in mind. I'm building the app that our PMs, developers, and UX researchers can use to collaborate on product feedback. One of the challenges I want to solve is make sure that feedback, like issues created in the GitHub repository, doesn't get lost or go unaddressed. I have an idea to bring that information into Teams to make it easier for each of us to keep track of any urgent issues that need attention. The first thing I want to know is how many open issues assigned to me and a quick way to view them. I also want the UI for my app to look and feel like Teams. I can use the Teams UI component library to help with that. Teams UI component library is a UI library built on top of Fluent UI React. Fluent is a Microsoft design system that provides you with a set of UI libraries for all M365. You can visualize it as a storyboard. This is a fun way to explore what's possible and test the components. Today, I'm happy to share the availability for our new Fluent UI React v9 package that supports design tokens and has major performance improvements. Let's go back to VS Code and start building out this dashboard. I'm creating a new component for this called dashboard. In this component, I'm pasting in some code I've prepared ahead of time, and I've already added an npm packages for Teams UI component library. The UI is constructed using this JSON, which I've copied from the storybook I showed earlier. I also added a function to get my assigned issues from GitHub using this GraphQL query from a repo I set up earlier. Let's run the app and see what we got now. Here's the app running besides VS Code. With a few tweaks to the dashboard tile, I can display issues there. And notice how the tile updates after I save this edit in the code. Teams Toolkit has already set up hot reload to make it even easier. So great. I have a basic dashboard set up with a tile to show my issues. I can continue a similar process for the rest of the tiles and display whatever data I want here. I can also run my app in Office to see how that looks. I'll just wait while the browser loads. And now we can see the app running in Office too. Next, I want to get notified daily of any stale issues right inside Teams so I can triage them. I'm going to add another feature to my Teams app that sends me a chat message every day with this information with stale issues that need my attention. In your apps, it could be daily sales volumes, unassigned tasks, or anything else that is valuable to your business. I can use Teams Toolkit and select the Add Features option to extend my Teams app further. The notification bot option helps me quickly create a solution for sending a message to a chat or channel. I also specify the event for that message, a trigger or a timer. I'd like to get a daily summary of any stale issues, so I'm choosing a timer trigger. Teams Toolkit creates everything I need to have an Azure function timer to trigger the notification. All of that is available to customize and scale for your business. But for now, I can focus on customizing the message for my scenario. So let's run the app now and see what we have by default. Now we see a message from a bot displaying some sample content. To customize this, I'm going to edit the JSON file for the adaptive card. I can select the preview and debug adaptive cards hint at the top of the file to open the adaptive cards extension. And using this is a fantastic way to preview what my adaptive card will look like. So watch as I edit the JSON and the preview updates on the right. I'll undo that because I'm going to paste in a design I've prepared ahead of time. So let's close those files and make some customizations to our notification app to use that adaptive card and display the GitHub issues I want to see. In the timer trigger file, I'm going to paste in some edits I've prepared that get issues in a similar way to the dashboard and fill in the data for the card. Finally, you need to update the data model in the card model file to match the customizations I've made. So let's run the app again in Teams and see our changes. Awesome. Now we see that my notification is correctly showing me the issues that I need to triage today. Our team has built something just like this to let everyone in the team know about stale issues and blocked features. It's transformed our daily workflow by bringing actionable work items directly into Teams. We've also upgraded Teams Toolkit for VS Code with features that make it easier to bring your existing Teams app everywhere in M365. Teams Toolkit includes 2 new features that help modernize your apps. The first one upgrades your app to use the Teams.js SDK v2, which updates imports and API calls. The other upgrade feature revises the Teams manifest to the latest schema to support Office and Outlook. That's Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio Code and how you can get started creating apps. In just a few minutes, we created a dashboard to show issues and use the Teams UI component library. We then extended our app further by adding a notification that runs on a timer to send me a chat message. Some of the other exciting features I didn't get to show are the ability to create CI/CD workflows for GitHub and provision and deploy cloud resources to Azure. And coming soon will be support for launching and debugging to mobile clients. If you want to learn more about using Teams Toolkit and what's new, check out our on-demand session, OD11, Accelerating Teams App Development with Teams Toolkit. Now I'll send it back to the pod in Redmond. Mahalo for joining me, and have a great build. Aloha.
Thanks, Tomomi. Hi, I'm Hal Bond, and I'm a Principal Product Manager here at Microsoft. As Divyanka mentioned, hybrid is here to stay and is driving us to reinvent how we live, work, and work together. I'll share some ways Microsoft is helping you create new collaborative apps to engage and delight your users in their flow of work. The first is with Fluid. Fluid Framework is an open source collection of client libraries used to build low latency collaborative experiences. It was designed to allow applications to create and operate on distributed shared data structures as if they were local. Keeping the logic and data local lets front-end devs build full-stack solutions with sophisticated synchronization, like real-time typing, without writing any custom server code. At Microsoft, we're already using Fluid to power collaboration in our own apps, including a new version of Whiteboard coming soon to M365 commercial tenants. Teams is also using Fluid Framework to power integrated note-taking with OneNote. And starting this summer, we're removing the preview tag so that everyone can use the Azure Fluid Relay and the Azure Fluid Relay Client SDK for production scenarios. To see how easy it is to use Fluid in your app, we'll convert a standalone app to a collaborative one. The app we're working on is a simple visual canvas where you can place and move shapes. We built it with the Pixie.js open source 2D graphics library. Let's get started. First, we declare the distributed data structures we'll use to keep our shape data in sync between clients. We use the shared map for our shapes, which we'll call Fluid Map. We need a new object type to represent the subset of shape properties we wanted to sync. Let's call it Fluid Display Object. Then we added two functions, Pixie to Fluid and Fluid to Pixie, to convert between Pixie shapes and Fluid Display Objects. Of course, we want everyone to see our shape move when we move it, so we created the Set Fluid Position function to write the location to Fluid. We convert the current Pixie shape to a Fluid Display Object and then call the set method on Fluid Map to update the distributed data. We just need to update our event handlers calling Set Fluid Position, so as we move a shape, it shows everyone the live progress. As others move shapes around on their boards, we will need to update ours. Fluid raises a value changed event when a shared map is modified. We have an event handler which will use Fluid to Pixie to update the local shape if it exists or create a new one if it doesn't. While our app has some React, Fluid works with any Vue library you want to use. And just a reminder, we still haven't written any server code. Now, let's play with some shapes. Pretty cool. The last thing we need to do is connect our app to the Azure Fluid Relay service. Like anything else in Azure, we can create a new Azure Fluid Relay resource through the Azure portal with the CLI or an ARM template. And once that's done, you should take note of your tenant ID, keys, and endpoints for your Fluid Relay client. And then, with the addition of a secure token provider to manage access, you're ready for production. A Fluid is clear. And we've already seen some of our partners build amazing experiences. I want to show you an app being built by Hexagon. If you're not familiar with Hexagon, they're a leading provider of sensors, software, and autonomous solutions for manufacturing. Their goal is to redefine collaborative engineering by giving their customers the tools to innovate faster, at higher quality, and with more confidence. The team at Hexagon chose Fluid and Azure Fluid Relay to bring this vision to life. Now I want to show you a real early example of Fluid in use at Hexagon. This is a portion of their data model for a scene graph. The scene graph is then used in their app to synchronize the view of 3D objects in an additive manufacturing workflow. In a related view, you can see how changing the material state from stainless steel to bronze is relayed to all the connected clients. For hundreds of millions of people across the globe, Teams is the hub for collaboration. The calls, meetings, chats, and application integrations available in Teams help us work better together. At Ignite in 2020, we introduced meeting extensions, which lets you integrate your app in meetings. Starting now, your apps will also work in calls with no changes to your app manifest. Many users share links to your rich web experiences in Teams chat, and today, without an app, they will appear as a simple preview. In the near future, we'll use structured data present in schema.org tags on your website to make the preview more contextual and informative with no additional effort on your part. And if you already use a bot to generate rich adaptive card previews, users won't need to have your app to see the previews. If you want to go one step further, you can use the updated Stage View API to have your adaptive cards launch your application side by side with the relevant chat. In this hybrid world, collaboration in meetings is crucial. And most meetings involve screen sharing to ensure everyone's on the same page at the same time. But we often want to do more. We want to get involved. We want to work together. As it was announced earlier, we're launching the public preview of LiveShare, a new extension to the Teams Client SDK built on Fluid, which makes it easy for you to create collaborative meeting experiences similar to PowerPoint Live, and so much more. LiveShare provides automatic session matchmaking backed by the security of Teams meetings, so the people working together in the meeting are the people collaborating directly in your app. You can also take advantage of meeting rules to tailor experiences for presenters and attendees. With LiveShare, you get all the power of Fluid with minimal effort and no cost. When you use LiveShare, you'll get access to a Teams-hosted and fully managed set of Azure Fluid Relay resources. No need to worry about setting up resources across regions. Your front-end dev teams can focus all their time on building rich, interactive features to add to the collaboration already happening in Teams. We also added new transient Fluid objects such as ephemeral state, ephemeral event, and ephemeral presence, tailored to the kind of collaboration found in Teams meetings. And finally, because synchronous media experiences are so important and challenging in a hybrid environment, we've added an ephemeral shared object designed specifically to synchronize audio and video files with just a few lines of code. With LiveShare, watching a video in Teams is better than ever before, as each user has their own direct synchronized media stream. This lets meeting participants watch videos at full resolution at any frame rate. Individuals can turn on local player features like closed captioning on their own. And because people also sometimes talk in meetings, Teams will intelligently lower the media volume to let those conversations happen. Now, let me welcome Sid, who will walk you through an example of how simple it is to take an existing application and make it live.
Thanks, Hal. I am Sid Uppal, a group engineering manager in Teams. We are an agile team and play planning poker when time-boxing work for a user story. As you can see here, my team and I are sprint planning. I open the side pane of our planning poker app to choose the next story for us to review. Clicking Plan Together shares the story to the meeting stage where we can all vote. No consensus. Seems like we should talk this over as a team. Well, while the team is discussing, let me show you how we made this app work interactively on the stage without building a new server. So we had to do a few things, and I'm going to show you the 3 most important. We declare the schema to sync, update the application UX and logic, and connect to the Teams hosted Azure Fluid Relay service. First, let me show you the Fluid container schema. You can see we have 4 objects, 3 of which are the ephemeral objects. We are going to focus on poker state. Poker state is where we track results for each round, whether waiting, costing, or discussing. Now that we've created it, let me show you how we connect it with the rest of the client code. In our UX, we create the UI for each state. Once the UX is set, we update the logic to trigger poker state. Finally, let me show you how simple and cool it was to use Teams Live Share and connect to our hosted Azure Fluid Relay service. All we had to do was create a new Teams Fluid client and join the container with our schema. The Teams Fluid client will take care of the container creation, connect this app to my meeting, and authorize the participants. Right, since I used the LiveShare SDK extensions, once my app was done, that was it. I didn't have to set up a new Azure resource. Okay, so let's finish the game. Yep, looks like the team agrees this is pretty straightforward. Back to you, Hal.
Thanks, Sid. We've been working with a few partners in private preview. Accenture is one of those partners. As a professional services company with leading capabilities in digital, cloud, and security, Accenture is always looking for ways to deliver on the promise of technology. Here they're using LiveShare to create an interactive synchronized media app. Let's hear what they have to say about their experience so far.
Video is central to how we communicate here at Accenture. And a little under a year ago, our global IT leadership team brought us this challenge. They wanted to create a meeting experience where a presenter could kick off a video and have everyone on the call watch the video at the same time with the same quality. We start working and bringing ideas up, and very quickly we realized that there's not a ready solution in the market. After that, in one of our checkpoints with our Microsoft partners, like someone raised their hand and they say, hey, we're working on this new SDK for Microsoft Teams that will bring some interactive capabilities. And we think this may solve, your challenge. We were able to have application built and working. It synchronizes the video for everyone on the call, and it gives attendants the ability to know that they're watching exactly the same that everyone else is watching, with a much increased quality on the video. I think there's a lot of opportunity to bring great experiences into Microsoft Teams, and I just can't wait to see them.
At Microsoft, we believe deeply in STEM education, and we partnered with MakeCode, a free open source platform for creating engaging computer science learning experiences. MakeCode is using LiveShare to support a collaborative coding environment where students can build and play games together, right within Teams. We're incredibly excited about the experiences LiveShare will make possible. Go to this link to learn more. As Divyanka promised, there's a lot of new and exciting tools available for you to create innovative collaborative experiences. Let's recap the big announcements from today. Divyanka talked about the updated Teams JS SDK and manifest, and adaptive cards as loop components. Tomomi announced the general availability of the Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio Code and the Teams Toolkit CLI. And I shared the general availability this summer of Azure Fluid Relay and the public preview of LiveShare. We have a number of on-demand sessions which will go in depth into each topic. Please check them out at aka.ms/WAC build session. Thank you, and have an amazing build.